Hi guys, Andy here, and I'm here to bring you all things Monday to makeup related. If that's your vibe, I'd love it if you'd subscribe to be part of my little slice, I'm trying to reach it, of the internet. And in today's video, I'm bringing you my July palette roundup. So, if you want to hear all of the palettes that I used this month, which is 17 palettes. So if you want to hear about all 17 palettes that I used this month, my thoughts, feelings, all of the things, then let's go ahead and just get on into it. So, based on Jen Beauty's little breakdown, which I always leave her listed down below, we have 4 categories of how I do my roundup. We have basically trash, which are things that I either actually trashed because they were old and weren't performing, or things that I decluttered. We have mid don't like, which are things that are on my chopping block or that I really don't have an opinion on currently. We have it's nice but, which are things that I put palettes that I like, but I've only used them one time in that, or they're just not holy grails for one reason or another. And then we have the holy grail category where they're the creme of the crop. So for my basically trash, you will be getting 3 photos because I don't have any of these palettes anymore. So the first palette that we'll be talking about is the Jeffree Star Jawbreaker palette, which I did actually use 2 times this month because I used it with a couple other palettes and then I needed to use it by itself to create a look for my summer palette roundup. So for me, I really did end up liking the color story, but it was an expired palette. The mattes were super powdery and chalky. It took multiple layers to get them to build up on the eye. The shimmers were super thick, and I just didn't enjoy the formula. Loved the color story. I bought this palette on Mercari. I had already had this palette for 2 or 3 years at this point. And it was my first time using it this month, so it was time for it to go. That is in the trash. Then we have the Jeffree Star Blood Sugar palette, which this was my Juju Pan My Battleship project. We ended that project. One DW at W Diary, I can list her down below as well. She's just not panning as much currently, and I hate this palette. I thought I was going to love it more than I did, but I just don't. It's awful. I like 2 shades in this palette. It's the white shade in the corner and the like taupey, grayy, gray purple. That's it. The shimmers are trash. I have said at length how much I dislike this palette. It's up on my Mercari if you're interested in buying mine. I'll list my Mercari down below. But no thank you. And last but not least, for basically trash, we have my ABH Rose Metals palette. This one is also a declutter, and this one's going to DW. My look came out nice. I liked the mattes. The mattes were this, like, velvety formula, and they were really nice. I just don't think the shimmers in that palette matched up with the mattes that you're given, and it just didn't mesh for me. And when I'm doing a look, I like using just one palette. I can use my single shadows, but, like, I just didn't need those mattes if that's all I was keeping the palette for, and I don't like doing that either, so I gave that palette to DW. For meh, don't like, we have 1 palette in this category, and that is my Pretty Evil and Ice Nine Kills Horrorwood palette. And for me, this is in this category because it really just is on the chopping block. I feel like I'm only keeping this palette because of the IP, because I love Ice Nine Kills so much. Because realistically, I only like the look that I create with the blacks and the grays. I love this shade Broken Bones. I love the gray, the black. I love this blackened silver. And that's really it for shades that I love. I don't mind the browns, but I don't like that we have 3 of them. Though they are different on the eyes, I don't think we needed them. But I don't love the gold. The green is okay. I don't like the red matte. I don't like the orange. The yellow is fine. And I don't like the purple. So I just, realistically, the shades that I do like, I have in other palettes. So I feel like I'm keeping this for the IP. The formula is great. I don't know. I feel like I hyped this palette up in my own head. And I just, I don't know. So I need to give this palette more love and figure out, am I keeping it because I actually want to use it, or am I keeping it because it's just Ice 9 Kills, which is a dumb reason just to keep it. Most of my palettes that I use this month actually fall in the It's Nice But category. So to get started, we have the palette. We can get started with the one I'm wearing today, which it's the end of the month, and I'm wearing the Dede Signature Elegance palette, which looks like this. I've only used this the one time. Fundamentally, the formula, really great. If you watch my Throwback Thursday, which, let me look, is that going up before or after this video? It'll be after, so it's next week's Throwback Thursday, so you'll hear more about it. But fundamentally, like the formula. I just don't think that the multi-chrome matches the mattes, and these blues are very similar. So, yeah, I just need to try this again. I need to try it with the other palette that I have, but overall, it is a really nice formula. Then we have my Gourmand Girls and Ladybug Glow El Camino palette, which I have a juicy pan in this guy. I really do like this palette. I don't love this more, it's not even that it's a satin, it's just a regular shimmer, but I don't love that shade, but everything else is beautiful. I really do love this, and I just love that I have a beautiful juicy pan in this palette. I don't think it'll ever be a holy grail, but it is a really nice formula. Then we have my Unearthly Spaced Out palette. I did No Pan Left Behind this guy, and I only dislike 2 shades. I don't think Unearthly knows how to do a blue matte, because every palette that I have that has a blue matte, I don't like. And then I didn't like this pink shimmer. It just didn't, it wasn't that shimmery. It was almost more like a satin shade, but every other shade in the palette, beautiful. I really honestly love this Cool Beans shade. It's like an espresso brown, and it is gorgeous. Very much love, very much like. Gorgeous, gorgeous to me. And I used the Spaced Out palette 4 times this month because I have No Pan Left Behind it. So now this one looks a little different. This is my ColourPop Blow and Smoke palette. I did trade out 2 shades because I threw them in a different ColourPop palette. So my silver and the white matte. So there's that. But I No Pan Left Behind this back when it was the original and loved it. I'm now decluttering this guy because I took out the couple shades that I wanted. But I did No Pan Left Behind this when it was the original. Then we have my Jeffree Star Gold Blooded. This was beautiful, honestly. This might be my new favorite Jeffree Star palette that I have. Like, the formula on the mattes was super blendable and buttery, and the shimmers in this are like such a soft formula that I don't have in any other Jeffree palette that I really, really enjoyed. I hate that one drawer. The one drawer on my palette organizer is broken, and I hate it so much. We have my Glamlight Barbie Dream Summer palette. This guy looks like this, and the look I did actually used this row with the gold, and it turned out beautiful. This is a gorgeous Glamlight formula. Like, this is the formula I love from them personally. We have the super buttery mattes, and we have the squishy shimmers, and that's what I love. All the dips and the shimmers you see are from DW, because she sent me this palette, but I really liked it. It was really gorgeous. I could see this becoming a Holy Grail palette, but I haven't even No Pan Left Behind this yet to give you my full thoughts, but I do just really enjoy it. And Barbie is so nostalgic for me that, gosh, love it. We have the Friday the 13th and Glamlight Camp Crystal Lake palette. This is also a shimmer formula that I love from Glamlight because these are just the more powdery but super sparkly, shimmery formula. I've used everything in here except these 3 shades, and gorgeous, honestly. I've only ever seen the very first Friday the 13th. It's kind of a travesty, but really loved this. It's gorgeous. I think my favorite shades in here are actually these two, but this is beautiful. Used this twice this month. Gorgeous, gorgeous. We have my Beauty Bay Reckless Romance. Did I do a throwback Thursday on this? I think so. And I hit pan on this gray. To be fair, it had a giant gouge in it, so I had a head start, but I still hit pan in it. This is the Beauty Bay formula I love, where it's got these more wet shimmers, the more just nice matte formula, and somebody finally agreed with me that there are two Beauty Bay formulas, and I feel so vindicated. But this is a beautiful color story. Because of having this palette, I actually decluttered my Berries palette, so love that. And last but not least, in our It's Nice But, we have the Simply Posh Coastal. And I used this 3 times this month because I ended up no pan left behinding it. And I said in my pile of shame video that I love the matte formula. It's gorgeous, but the shimmer formula was a little disappointing. I only really like the shades Tropical and Saltwater. The other 4 shimmers are just really disappointing to me, but the mattes are beautiful. And the new palette that they have coming out, I think it's a Down to Earth, I think, or something. It's like the sister palette to this, which I kind of want, but I absolutely don't need. If I were to get another Simply Posh palette, I would want something to be very different to this. So there is that, and let me grab the 3 palettes that we have in Holy Grail. So we have the Unearthly Don't Be Jelly palette, and like I said, the only shade in this palette that I don't like is this blue shade. Every other shade in this palette performs absolutely wonderfully. The shimmers in here are stunning. These 2 mints are what got me into like really loving mint again, which I have a mint inner corner today. And there's something about this palette and this is my first Unearthly palette that really got me into the brand. Then we have my current pan, the Alphabet palette. I'm just in love with this. I want more from Wicked Widow Beauty. This is the Lovesick palette. And I ended up, so the Don't Be Jelly palette I used 3 times this month, and I've used this 4 times this month. And I'm working on this shade, Come Back Home. But I love this whole palette. My only complaint about this palette is that this shade shifts gold, which I just feel is a little out of place. I wish it shift a pink or a purple instead. But it still works, and I really do love it. I want the other palettes in this format. And last, but certainly not least for Holy Grail, we have the Jeffree Star Star Ranch palette. This palette, it is nothing to write home about, but it blew me out of the water. This matte shade is my favorite in the palette, and this shimmer, it's called Star Creek. Look at it. It's just, especially for my Jeffree Star palettes, it's so unique, and I loved it so much that this is giving Weirdo a run for your money. Like, I think the 9 pans are so good and underrated, but those are all 17 palettes that I used this month, and that is everything. Let me know, are any of these palettes your absolute favorites? Do you hate any of these palettes? Otherwise, let me know what you think I should do about the Horrorwood palette. Like, should I put it on the chopping block for real? Should I just do a get ready with me with it and see how I feel about it as a whole? Should I no pan left behind it again and see how I feel? I'd love to know your thoughts down below. But otherwise, that's going to do it for my July palette roundup, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys!